Okay, second session. The goal is not anymore the one written there. Also, the is about set title. Let's do Android closely tested emails. Okay, let's change it. Good, good. So let's change also the goals here. Close testing emails. Great. So this has been done, and yeah, deploy up to close test is now done. This has to stay there to confirm that it's actually working, and working on this task about sending the email after a test has been approved to enter in the program with a link to Google Play to get it. So there is already a temporary Google Play entry, which is not public from what I understand. I actually can confirm pretty quickly like that if I open a private window. Yeah, that doesn't exist. Not a valid URL. But probably I can see it because I'm logged in as myself and I am in the authorized as a tester. I'm not sure how that works. Anyway, so first, so what I want to think, I think to add, either added some functions to deal with that, or I write a script. So one thing I want to ask Gemini is, let's go here. This is the website. Okay, that's the main folder. Fine. So Gemini here. Is this because now I've added more and more services here from the backend that this sender function are authorized to use, such as Firestore, the email service, and so on and so forth. I think I will have to start to segregate the service accounts for each handler. Um, so I want to ask that, how do I know which service account is used by each handler, uh, function handler, and Firebase function cloud function handler, in functions. Oh, I'm in the I'm in the wrong project. That's the app. Ah. So I have to quit Gemini, switch project, go to the website, start Gemini again in the right folder, and ask the question again. How do I know what service account is used by each function, Firebase Cloud function in handler? There you go. How can I use different service accounts to segregate better permissions? Starts with that as we add stuff. Firebase function can run with specific service account to manage their permissions. Here is how you can determine which service account or functions are used and how to configure different ones. One, identifying the service account used. Going quick. By default, Cloud Function use the project default service account. However, you can specify a service account in the functions configuration options. In your project, the functions configuration are centralized in CFG TXTS. Let's examine the file to see if a service account is specified. No, it isn't. I've reviewed the configuration, do not have a service account property defined. Okay, so I kind of understand. So there is this CFG file, and here I can add a new property called service account. From what I understand, there you go. And the property is a string where I can specify what service account is used. Okay, I see. Let's go back and keep on reading. All of your functions are currently using the default service account for Cloud Functions, which is the default compute engine service account. The email for this account is the following format. Your GCP was just HubSpot, okay. GCP project ID. Is the ID the same as the name? Console. I have to go here. I'll go yum. This one. My HubSpot gserviceaccount.com. Yep. Then there are a few other service accounts I did not create. I did not create. No, not helpful. What the fuck? Ah, okay. Roll like a card. How come it says all permissions are excessive and it's not possible? I use at least some of them. Was this helpful? Not at all. I didn't explain you why I'm not that expert now. So let's compute. Default compute service account. And then there is Firebase admin SDK. And there is another one. Firebase service management agent. Very strange. I don't understand it. So go back to the answer here. So we identify the service account there. We want to change it. We want to create specific service accounts. But I don't know anything about how to do now yet. Okay. To assign different service account to your function for more gradual permission, you need to follow the following steps. Go to service accounts in the Google console, create service account, give it a new name, function contact forms, and an optional description. Grant specific minimal IAM roles to perform the task. Example, for a contact form function that send email, you might get granted roles related to secret manager to access API keys, but no roles for database access. Click done. Copy the email address of the newly created service account. It will be something like functions contact form. Your project ID, IMG service account. Assign the service account to a function by updating their options. For example, if you specify a contact form, you could modify CFGTS. Of course, I don't want this change. It doesn't make any sense. This thing is on its own. That's not where it should be. All right. So that well, okay. I understand what is getting on, but the coded is suggested is totally meaningless. Unless you use that to spread it later. Spread the property and the new property. Let's take contact as an example. So gets the data. Does he get any API key? Yeah, from when he sends the email message here. Yeah, I guess the API key from configuration because we are saying it gets the whole configuration and every web function gets the send API key, need it or not. So I think I need to do something here as well with the secrets, not just with the permissions. I think what they should do is this, do like a check of every single function and see what they use and write them down. So for example, contact is using the secret manager. And there, you get to see what is using of the secret manager just to read the secret. So let's say contact. We use a secret manager. What else? Resend. That's it. Fetch interested is using Firestore for sure. That's it. Fetch user data. is using Firestore only in read mode, yeah. I don't know how granular is good to go. Yeah. Get custom token. Oh yeah, sure. This does. Uh-huh. All right. It's just for development. This doesn't need anything, this one. Well, I don't know if we need some auth permission. Interested? Firestore. If we want to say this is read only, this is Firestore reader, right? Schedule is delete account. So only Firestore. Ah, no. Is also using authentication. Allora, let's do in this way. I don't have to do all the functions at once. I can do put the service account to one function at a time and leave the other one in the generic. So I avoid to in the generic default service account to avoid to break everything. But what I'm wondering now, let's suppose if I create a new service account without any permission or without a required permission. What will happen? How do I hope it will be logged, but I don't know. How do I know which permissions is missing? Wow. I will need coffee, but I can't at this time. I see, because if that's the case, I might start, with the first function and create an empty. Excellent question. That's a critical aspect of managing cloud infrastructure. If you deploy a function with a service account and lacks a necessary permission, the function will fail at runtime. Okay, yeah, I know that, but runtime error will throw an exception when using client library like Firebase admin. This is typically a permission denied error. The error will record did in detailing cloud login. This is most important place to find out what's went wrong. The caller your function will receive an error response for your on-call functions. It will be an HTTPS error with a call like internal or permission denied. The execution of the function will stop and the client will not get the expected result. For example, if your fetch user data function was assigned to a service account that couldn't read from Firestore, the line await fetch delete blah, 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 would fail. The function would crash and the client app will receive an error. How to know which permission is missing? The key is to look at the logs. The error messages are usually very specific. Okay, that helps. Here is a step-by-step process to diagnose the issue. Trigger the function. After deploying your function with the new restricted account, trigger it so it produces the error. Go to the Log Explorer, navigate the Google Account Console. In the navigation menu, find Logs and go to Logs Explorer. Yep. Filter the logs, in the logs filter to find the exact error. A good way is filtering by the function name. In the query box, yeah. Inspect the error messages, look for an error. Okay. Expand the, okay. Inside the JSON payload, you'll find a detailed error that will explicitly states the missing permission. It will look like permission denied, the caller does not have a permission, Firestore document get on resource. The message tells you exactly which permission is missing. Grant the missing permission. Okay. So the other question would be, and dunque, let's see, find the service account, click edit pencil, add another role, search for the final role that contains the missing permission, for example, first store data store user role. It's best practice to grant a more specific list privileges role for that meets your need. Save the changes. Take a minute or two. Okay, by following this process, you can systematically identify and resolve permissions. Yeah, okay. Should I create a service account for each function and then start and then add the required permission? Is this overkill? Should we group all the functions I only need Firebase read, Firestore read? Okay, let's see. It's a lot. That's the ideal approach from a security perspective, but is not always the most practical. Let's break down the strategies. The guideline principle is the least privilege. A service account should have only the minimum permissions required to perform its task and nothing more. Here are the common strategy from most secure to least secure. Strategy one service account per function, the granular approach. This is the most secure method and the purest implementation of the principle of least privileges. So the idea is that even though maybe there are two functions that need the same permission now, they could, in theory, evolve so that they need different permissions in the future. That's why I was thinking that. But I understand they can be overkill. Let's keep on reading. Let's get some water first. You create a distinct service account for every single cloud function. Contact gets one, fetch user data gets another, schedule gets a third, and so on. Each one is granted only the IAM permission it needs. Pros, maximum security. If a vulnerability is found in one function, an attacker can access it or delimit the resource of that function service account. The blast radius is minimized. Clear auditing is easier to see which permission each function has. Cons: high management overhead for a project with the dozens of functions. You will have dozens of service accounts to create, manage, and track. This can be a complex and cumbersome. Potential for error, manual configuration. Well, I wouldn't do manually. That's adding. Strategy 2: one service account for all domain. Pragmatic and recommended approach. This is the most common and recommended best practice because it balances security and manageability. If you group functions that perform similar tasks or access same resources, assign them a single role-based service account. Can it be role-based? Because here I have to assign maybe two different roles to some functions, but I can't assign two service accounts. Apply to this project, you can define stuff like mailing list manager. For function interact with mailing list, send email. Require permission, secret manager accessor, and there is send the API key, Firestore. User data manager. For function and authenticate user data. Require permission, Firestore authentication, user admin, and Firestore user. Schedule a test runner, Firebase authentication user admin, and Firestore user. Pros: strong securities. They provide excellent security by separating concern vulnerabilities. Well, the scheduled task runner also send emails. I don't know how different they are. They are very similar. Slightly larger blast radio. Strategy 3: once in default service account. Yeah. You should use the strategy 2 for your project for account role domain. Define 2 to 4 key roles for application. Create service account, grant minimal permission, update, assign to function. For example, after creating a mailing list manager service account, how can I create those service accounts and roles and permissions programmatically with something like Terraform, but not as cumbersome and clunky and horrible as Terraform. Create update, keep the states. I understand the you got the empathy. While Terraform is powerful, its domain-specific language and operational model can feel rigidly verbose to developers who are used to working with general-purpose programming language. We are looking for an infrastructure as code solution that feels more like writing code and less like writing configuration. The two best alternatives that fit this description are Pulumi or Palumi, Palami, who knows, and using gcloud CLI scripts. Careful because the scripts have to be idempotent. Palami, the modern ISC approach, infrastructure as code approach, this is likely the best fit for you. So I think it was in one of the videos from Fire that I talk about Palami. There's a Palami TV. So let's see how to pronounce it from the horse's mouth.
It's official. Terraform is no longer open source. But thankfully, Pulumi is. Pulumi's Apache license,
Oh, Palumi. Palumi?
just like your favorite Apache Foundation or CNCF project, and always will be. If you're a Terraform user looking for a new IAC solution, here are 7 other important points about Pulumi. First, Pulumi lets you express infrastructure as code in any language: Python, JavaScript, TypeScript, Go, C#, Java, or even YAML. The L in YAML stands for language. By using industry standard languages, unlike Terraform's proprietary domain-specific language, HCL, infrastructure as code becomes accessible to everyone: developers, infrastructure experts, and everywhere in between. It also delivers amazing productivity. No more copy and pasting scripts. You get real sharing and reuse, and great support from tools like editors and test frameworks. 2, Pulumi is declarative. Even though you may choose an imperative language to express your infrastructure as code, the Pulumi infrastructure as code engine is fully declarative.
Yeah,
You're getting
that
full
must
history of who
be.
changed what and when, the ability to plan changes before you've made them, and apply policies. So it's really the best of declarative infrastructure as code married with any programming language you've chosen. 3, Pulumi is not built on Terraform. Pulumi allows you to tap into any Terraform provider in the ecosystem, but does not depend on Terraform core at all. This is a common misconception in the community, and an understandable one. 4, you can host your own state. Pulumi works great with the Pulumi Cloud SaaS. It's reliable, secure, easy to collaborate. A lot of good things to like about that, but we understand some people need to have control over how they manage their state. You can export to an S3 bucket, you can take the JSON file and run with it. Pulumi has many options for self-hosting your own state. 5, Pulumi lets you use infrastructure as code as a library. If you want to embed Pulumi into a larger piece of software, like a self-serve portal, a custom tool, a custom framework, or your own SaaS product, Pulumi makes it really easy to just link with the library and build it like it's software. 6, you can generate your infrastructure as code using Pulumi AI. Although we have tens of thousands of examples, we may not always have that specific example that you're looking for. But with Pulumi AI, if you can dream it and explain it to the AI, it will generate the code for you in whatever language you've chosen. And 7th, we can convert your existing infrastructure. So if you love the idea of Pulumi, but you've already got an infrastructure as code investment, Pulumi has ways to migrate that code and migrate that state. Whether that's coming from HCL or CloudFormation or Azure Resource Manager templates, Pulumi can not only convert the code to your target language, but also migrate the state so that there's no disruption to your existing infrastructure. Hopefully this is useful for learning a bit more about Pulumi. Pulumi is open source, free to try it. Check it out at pulumi.com today.
Okay. Should we listen to this Palumi in 3 minutes?
Pulumi, an open source infrastructure as code tool that brings together the best of declarative infrastructure as code with our favorite programming languages. It supports
Wait a second, see programming language.
brings together the best of declarative infrastructure as code with our
Python, JavaScript, Java, Go, .NET, TypeScript.
favorite programming languages. It supports many
YAML.
clouds, including public clouds, cloud native infrastructure, SaaS vendors, and even private and hybrid clouds. Using code avoids needing to point and click in your cloud UI to spin up infrastructure, which is manual, tedious, error-prone, unrepeatable, and just pure chaos. Pulumi was built by the creators of Visual Studio, .NET, and TypeScript, and open sourced in 2018 for other engineers building cloud software. That includes platform team engineers, developers building backends, engineers building cloud software, .NET and TypeScript, and open sourced in 2018 for other
2018, okay.
engineers building cloud software. That includes platform team engineers, developers building backend services, DevOps engineers, and everyone in between. You declare cloud resources in code, and Pulumi takes care of the rest. This works for day one provisioning, as well as evolving your infrastructure state over time. Using general purpose languages means you get access to everything we know and love about them while still getting the belts and suspenders protection of declarative infrastructure as code. In fact, with Pulumi's automation API, you can use infrastructure as code as a library to create custom tools, frameworks, or self-serve portals. Pulumi programs are organized into projects and stacks. A stack is an instance of your project and makes it easy to spin up many environments and keep them in sync. Although Pulumi's programming model is standard across all clouds, it doesn't hide what makes each cloud great. The entirety of every cloud, all of its services, and those services' capabilities is available. Each cloud is represented as a native package in your language of choice, and every resource is just a type with properties representing the cloud services' capabilities. To get started, install the Pulumi CLI. Then run Pulumi new to create a new project for a given language and cloud. Or you can start from one of hundreds of examples in the Pulumi examples GitHub repo, or use Pulumi AI to describe any infrastructure you want and have it create it for you.
Oh, it seems complicated. It's surely not. Let's keep reading here first. Let's see, define infrastructure, TypeScript, Python, or Go. Since your project is already in TypeScript monorepo, you can mention in your in same language you use for application. Why is better than Terraform? Use TypeScript, no ACL, no for loop function classes, auto completion, tape checking, developer friendly, entire workflow. Okay. Developing a small application, manage states like Terraform, it understand the current state of your infrastructure, calculate and apply diff for the experience, but the experience is much smoother. Example, created service accounts with Palami, I forgot how to say, and TypeScript. First, you'd create a new sub-project for your infrastructure. Let's call it infra. Okay. Make the infra cd infra. Next, you install Palami new go GCP TypeScript. Then in your index.ts file, you would create line of code like this. Ah, nice. Palami app. Is that it? Project configure require project const object entries service account. Create a service account. Assign the required roles. So you go for loop, but it's declarative. So you will check if the role is already there. Do nothing if it is, right? Export the email of a created service account so you can easily find it. What does it even mean export? Export to where? You will simply run Palami app, will show a preview of the changes, and ask for confirmation before applying. G-Cloud CLI script, the simple and direct approach. If you want something even simple without learning a new framework like Palami, you can simply script the G-Cloud command line tools. This is an imperative approach. Yeah, so that's really bad because then you add a new user and it will fail because it will start to add the old users which are already there. You want to change a user, you're on your own. Yeah. Right, let's go with Palami. Let's finish the video.
We can now open up the code in any editor since Pulumi uses industry standard languages. Right away, you get all of the productivity features of your IDE, like code completion, red squiggles if you make a mistake, go to definition, refactoring, AI copilots, and more. Resources are declared as objects in your code, which Pulumi then turns into a series of cloud API calls when you eventually run the command Pulumi up. Resources have properties to capture how they're configured, as well as outputs like cloud-generated IDs and URLs. Outputs are promise-like because they aren't known in advance. We can use anything in the language: for loops, if statements, functions, classes, packages, and more. Each stack can be configured so that a single project can be parameterized. That includes things like the cloud region, in addition to project-specific settings like number of instances, secrets like tokens and passwords, and more. Pulumi Up first shows you a preview. This is the full set of operations that will be performed to make the cloud environment match your declared goal state. Confirming with yes proceeds with the deployment. Updates are streamed as it goes. At the end, a stack output tells us the resulting properties computed at runtime, like our website's URL. The whole time, Pulumi Cloud is helping out, keeping track of state and history automatically. If Pulumi's infrastructure as code tool is like Git, then Pulumi Cloud is like GitHub. It helps teams collaborate securely and reliably with features like identity, teams in RBAC, history of who changed what and when, resource search, webhooks, Git integration for automated pull request previews and deployments on Merge, a developer portal, integrated secrets management, policy enforcement, drift detection, and a whole lot more. This has been Pulumi in 3 minutes. To learn more and start programming the cloud today, go to pulumi.com/start.
Let's do that. Let's just do pulumi.com to start instead of /start. Products. Terrafork. Pulumi. I thought Fireship had something about Pulumi. Anyway, so let's try the /start. Oh, hold on. It's the same as this get started, yeah? Get started with Pulumi. Pulumi is a modern infrastructure as code and secret management platform that I used to use familiar programming languages and tools to automate, secure, and manage everything you run in the cloud. Infrastructure as code is a free open source optional pairs with Pulumi Cloud to make managing infrastructure secure, reliable, and hassle-free. Select one of the options to get started. Oh my God, there's a lot of options. Okay. First, you have to choose a tab, Google Cloud. Starter. If you're new to Pulumi, this guide helps you install Pulumi, configure Google Cloud, and run your first update. Then we got ESC. This it helps you install Pulumi ESC, whatever that means. Create an environment and manage your first secret. Inside Kubernetes. Static website with a CDN. And full stack serverless hub. So this, I think these are example. Maybe this is like a tutorial to do that. Follow me in 3 minutes. Alternative, you can watch the following video. Okay, which is the one we watched already, and I forgot probably 90% of it. Let's see this first. Right. This is like a tutorial. So let's try the first start. Get started with Pulumi and Google Cloud. Pulumi Infrastructure as Code SDK helps you create, deploy, and manage Google Cloud container serverless function infrastructure using programming languages like TypeScript, Go, C#, and Java, and markup languages like YAML. The Pulumi Google Cloud providers, packages, and CLI helps you accomplish all of this within minutes. For a simple example of how Pulumi deploys infrastructure on Google Cloud, This tutorial takes you through the following steps to deploy a static website. Setting up and configure Palami to access your Google account, create a new Palami project, provisioning a new Google Cloud Storage bucket, adding an index HTML to your bucket and serving it as a static website. All right, that's not what I have in mind, but let's see. So apparently the suggested installation option is with Brew. Oh, let's use that. So Brew install Palami, tap Palami. Auto updating homebrew. Okay, it's getting. Okay, so now let's do a brew update. And let's also do a brew upgrade. Okay. So now we have it. Let's go first step. Palami version. Or Palumi. 31860, same as this. Okay, choose your language. Okay, we can choose TypeScript, which is better than JavaScript because of the properties will be auto-suggested better than JavaScript. Python, no thanks. Go, I don't know it. C Sharp, Java, I know it, but it's too probably overkill or clunky. I stay in TypeScript. Install Node.js, done. Finally configure Palami with Google Cloud. What? It's explained below, I think. Configure Palami to access your Google Cloud accounts. Requires cloud credentials to manage and provision resources. Must use an IAM or service account that has programmatic access with the right to deploy and manage to your Google resources, so my own account. In this guide, you will need an IAM user account with permission and can create a cloud storage bucket, blah, blah, blah. When deploying logically, we recommend to install the Google Cloud SDK and then authorize access with an user account. If gcloud is not configured to interact with your Google Cloud project, set the project ID. Next, Palami requires a default application credential to interact with your Google Cloud resources to run application default login to obtain those credentials. Okay, let me run this outside the screen on other screen in case it spits out credentials as it seems. Okay, so let me move this out too. Oh, it just authenticated. Updates are available. G-Cloud components update. So it didn't actually output anything that was secret. For additional information, next you create a new Palami project. Okay. So this is the same that was recommended by Gemini in this step. Right. So let's start to do, I'm okay with infra. Okay. So now I am here in web. Let's create a new folder called infra. It's a bit horrible that name. I know it's silly, but I want to ask anyway because now I'm creating a folder. I have TypeScript project with the backend as Firebase Cloud functions in functions folder front end in TypeScript again in Svelte kit in a web folder. I have a shared folder called shared, and I want to create a new folder to manage infrastructure as code. How should I call it? I know it's silly, but I'm creating a new folder, infrastructure. Okay. ISC deployment. Ops, ops, DevOps stack. Right, let's go with infra. Apparently, is no. Make the infra cd infra. Next step is to do that. Palami new GCP TypeScript, which is the same as in the guide here. Palami new GCP TypeScript. Okay, we create some boilerplate. Let's see. Manage Palami stacks by logging in. Manage Palami stack by logging in. Manage your Palami stack by logging in. No idea what that means. Enter Palami login help for alternative login options. Enter your access token. Enter to login user or browsers. Okay, let's do enter. But log into Palami, I don't have an account, so what a So also what I'm getting into, I have to see what's the pricing here. I opened the logo only. Uh, pricing. Individual, free forever for individual. You get, or until we fail. ISC state management, unlimited project stacks and environment, unlimited update and history, and 500 free deployment minutes per month, per year, lifetime. All the rest is monthly, so 40, 500 resources, up to 10 users. Yes, assistance, um, webhooks, automatic secret rotation, community support. You logged into Palami. You may close this window or sign in to your Palami Cloud dashboard. Palami CLI, Palami new, Palami stack, Palami about. Welcome to Palami. Palumi. Palumi helps you create, deploy, and manage infrastructure or any cloud using your favorite language. You can get started today with Palami at Get Started. The resources you create with Palami are given a unique randomly generated suffix by default. To learn more about auto-naming or customizing resource name, see auto-naming. This command will walk you through creating a new Palami project, enter a value, or leave it blank to accept the default, and press enter. Press C at any time to quit. Project name info. Should it be budget pilot info, and what is acceptable project name? Can I use hyphen, underscore, or camel case? Can I use spaces? No idea. Palami AI. Uh-huh. Is it free too? What are the acceptable character for a Palami project name? Spaces, underscore, hyphen, hyphens. There you go. There is a very specific character set. They don't tell you nothing. Okay. So we can use hyphen, underscore, and period. Okay, let's use the hyphens. So project name will be budget pilot info, let's say. There you go. Project description. A minimal cloud TypeScript. Okay. I don't know. Uh, Google Cloud Infra for budget pilot. Please enter your desired stack name. To create a stack in an organization, use the format org name, stack name, dev. Prod. The package manager you use for installing depth. npm, npm, yarn, let's stay with the tested and old npm. Google Cloud Project to deploy into GCP project. I think this is asking for the project ID, so this my budget pilot. Installing dependencies. Dependencies. Okay, this seems to take a while. So in the meantime here, there is this example of Palami project. No, this is not even related. It's here in Gemini. Uh, right, okay, let's see what's happened. Installing packages. Project is ready to go. Perform an initial deployment of nothing. There is nothing. Let's do Palami app anyway. Initial deployment of nothing. Provision and update prod. We'll at least connect and see. It has to download stuff. Okay. For the first time, I suppose. View in browser. Let's try that. Sign. I just signed in before. How many times do I have to sign in? Previewed, updated. No. What? Why does this comment? Did it take the last commit message and randomly uses a comment there? What the fuck is going on? Bucket name unknown. No. What is creating? I don't know. Close. Let's go to check. Um, so let's close everything. Close all. So you generated something. I tell to create something empty, and you generated something. Palami YAML. No, I said TypeScript. Why I have YAML now? Okay. Okay. Here you go. It's you want to create a random bucket. Who asked you that? No. Bucket name unknown. No. Okay. So import the Palami. Export bucket name, bucket URL. Okay, so what do we actually have to do? I think so we can write the code in this index.ts for the moment until it gets too big. And we've done that. It says import star as GCP from Palami GCP. We have an import here. Same. Okay, fantastic. And we also import Palami, and I don't know why, because it's not used in fact. So let's get rid of this. Instead of creating the bucket, I want to create some service accounts. Actually, I would like to create one to start. Let's copy this code, the whole thing, but I will have to work on removing the line numbers, unfortunately. Get rid of that. Okay. So I think I can do a column selection with Option Shift. There you go. And remove the number. That didn't work. I removed a bit too much. Try again. Option Shift. Uh-huh. That looks good. Well, okay, the AI is doing for me. Maybe it's better. Say I do it. Do few lines at a time. Okay. Last bit. There you go. So now, yeah, we are doing a Palami export. So the import that I removed, we have to get it back from Palami. Okay. And this, we'll have to understand what to put here, but first let's make the code work. Config does not exist for type. Do you mean config lowercase? Palami config. Right. That's probably the case. Project. How can I do just one thing? So for example, instead of all this stuff that I don't understand, how can I execute only this line? Mm, Property export. Why did he get this git log? Yeah, he just got the last commit message. That is not even related to what I'm doing now. Okay, so let's tell let's remove all of this and do a console log for project. Right, how do I run it? Palami app. Palami app. I have to go in infra. I'm in web here. Infra. Palami app. Previewing update. Missing required configuration variable BP infra project. Uh-huh. But I don't understand because if I put this, what is this config global by this project or what? If I put something in config with the project name, then I can have only one project because the project is called project. I have no idea. Can I just hard code it and say this project name will never change? My budget pilot. Remove that comment. Remove the output. Go through this and comment. Okay. So let's comment one user. So they are calling manager, mailing list manager. Let's create a rule for email sender. So it will require only the secret access. Okay, let's just very simple like that. See what happens. So yes, Marshmallow. We still have a problem with this export. Okay, Palume export says property export. Let's ask this to Gemini. So what I've done is I've now created a Palami project in the infra folder and updated index.ts. Let's do to index.ts. However, um, two questions. Can you double check it and also fix the error property? I'm missing the P here. Export does not exist. Okay, go. In Palamity script SDK, stack output are export using the top level export keyword. Yeah, I thought about that. That was a thing, but I couldn't be sure. But I'm using Palami in another place. I thought I did. I know not anymore because it was to get the configuration here. Okay. By changing Palami export to just export, okay, I will remove the unused Palami import. Okay, correct. The key change was moving on to TypeScript standard export const. You can now run Palami app. Okay. No, it doesn't work. Modifiers cannot because it's in a for loop. Is that a problem? Really understand that refers to same file, same line. Should have told maybe. You're right, my apologies. That's classic TypeScript scoping issue. You cannot use the export keyword in a block or for loop. The correct way to handle is to collect the output that you want to export and then export it at the end of the top level module after the loop has finished. I will correct the index.ts file again. Yeah. We read the file, service account emails. Correct. Apply the change. Let's now fix the code. We'll collect the service email within the loop and export them all together at the end, which will solve, okay, the problem. What the heck is this? What's the name? That's the name, huh? So it's missing mixing hashes and camel case. Service account, email service and service account. Let's just do this. Okay, it'll be easier to read if it's like that. Okay, follow me up. Hold on, we're creating an account called email server sender. Okay. So let's go to, let's see how the quotas usage. What I wanted to check is not this, but the accounts. Let's check the type Polami stack. So three to create. One is a stack, BP infra prod create. That's why it says three things to create. Service account, email sender, and member secret access. So do you want to perform this update? Yes. Actually, this is great. And now I can already define easily my service accounts and update them as necessary as code. That's all I need to do, right? That wasn't too painful. So yeah, it's creating them and what we got here. We also don't know if it works. Right, it looks like it did. Let's check. Let's check first. Yeah, my service accounts. There you go. Email service sender. Server manager has secret access. Nice. And I have it as an output. Nice. So let's create a branch. Just generically Palami for now. Nice. Do I have to commit everything? Well, I have to add the folder first. Info. So I have a Palami YAML and a prod YAML. Aha. Ah, so the project is already written there. So when I do Palami app, how does it know which environment to do? Does it choose prod because it's the only environment? When I do Palami app. Oh, it worked first. Say it worked. Exclamation mark. When I do Palami app, which environment is selected? Is it ran on? Okay, and that's the first question. And also, can I commit all the files in infra folder with the exception of node modules, of course, question mark. And then the other question is in index.ts, in at index.ts, that one, I defined project, I hard-coded project, but I see that the project name is also defined in Palami prod already. Is there a way to get it from there without hard coding? Okay. Besides, okay, sorry, the answer is let's read it here. Which environment does Palami app run? When you run Palami app, it operates on the currently selected stack. A stack is an isolated, independently configurable instance of your Palami program. This is how you manage different environments like development, staging, and production. The configuration for a stack is stored in the corresponding Palami stack YAML file. In your case, prod, also configuration for a stack named prod. You will see all your stack by running Palami stack ls. Start doing that. Only prod, of course. No, no. Right. When you created the project, Palami created a stack for you from the dev prod. The one with the star next to it is a currently active one. Yeah. Okay, I see. So when you run Palami app, you're deploying the resources defined in index.ts using the configuration from your currently active stack YAML file. So how do you change the active stack? Palami question mark. No match is found. Palami -help. Stack management commands. New stack console import. Palami stack. What was that? So what is displaying me what it did? The current resources, the state, stack or state? Don't know. The state for the stack. Okay. Can you absolutely, you should commit almost everything in the infra folder. As this is infrastructure as code, the only thing you should not commit is non-module. Okay, of course. Your infra directory should have a delete ignore contains at least node modules. I have already in the folder above, so I don't need it. You should commit the following files: index package. Okay. Everything. Package lock. Yeah. Committing this file ensure that anyone in your team can access the repository inside the dependency deploy the same infrastructure. How do I get the project name from your YAML file? Outcoding values like the project ID is not ideal. Pulumi configuration system designed to solve exact problem. You can read the GCP project name from Pulumi prod using Pulumi config. That's I was trying to use before, but that didn't work. That's why I had hard coded. Okay. I will now modify to read the project from the configuration file instead of having a hard coded. Nice. Let's see if that works. God damn it. Seems to work. I've updated the code now, blah blah blah. Let's do Palami app. Nothing should change. Just double checking that. No Palami project. CD infra, Palami app, unchanged. Ah, it doesn't work. PP infra GCC project. Just GCC project. GCP project. Why does it say BP infra? Okay, let's copy this. That didn't go as expected. Mm. Classic parameter. This is a common issue working with Palami project instead a larger memory repo. The error missing requirement means that when Palami ran, it could not find the GCP project setting for your prod stack. Your code and your prod file are correct. The problem is not in the code, but in the Palami, where the Palami app command was executed. Where? I executed it in infra. That seems the only place where it should be executed. Needs to be run from the directory where Palami. Yeah, no, you're wrong. No, yeah, that's absolutely false. Allow. Alright, so now you realize that it was wrong. I see that running the command from infra directory resulted in the same error. Yeah, okay. This is unexpected. Means that my initial diagnosis was incomplete. Incorrect, not incomplete. My apologies. The error is persistent, which means there is a definitive mismatch between what the Palami CLI expects and what in the Palami prod the YAML file. The error message means it require BP infra GCP project. So the thing is this, where is BP infra coming from? Because if I look at this, I got config GCP project. Why does it get BP infra? And what's the point of putting this value in configuration if I have to execute commands? I don't understand. Will this change that file again? Will it go this top value without if it goes here without config? It didn't change. It didn't change the file. So what happened with that command? That's, oh my goodness. Modify index ts because of that. So where did the config go in the cloud? I don't understand, and it's not linked to prod. Same problem. Let's try this. Instead of reading the configuration, but let's read project. Uh-huh. Palami config set my budget pilot in infra project. I have to understand what does it mean this config set. Where is the heck is it saved? So it seems to work, and that's really upsetting. It's really upsetting because when you do Palami config set project, when the command where does the value is actually saved, is it stack specific or not? And also, what's the point of Palami prod YAML if it can't be used? Shall I delete it? That's really upsetting. It should be as code, but you do a config and it's not in code. Is it treated as secret? The value saved directly in the YAML file corresponding to your active stack. It's not true. Oh yeah, it did. It wasn't shown when I came here because it didn't refresh. It's not in the page. Yeah. The first time I came in this file, it actually didn't show that. All right, so that makes me feel a little bit better. So I think I can delete the GCP project. %, stack specific. No, deleted. Yeah, I understand now. Okay. So can I delete the GCP project now? Not that. The other one. Yeah. Okay. Can I now delete the line GCC project my by power inside Palami prod? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, now lacking experience. Yes, you can and you should. Okay, allow. Okay, so we have a working initial simple Polami project that just creates a single service account, and we are ready to commit this first. Okay. Um, commit creating service accounts with Polami. Nice. Push and create a PR. And now all this effort for 1,000 lines is because the node package lock. Now, this is a monorepo, but I think I will leave Parami separately like that with its own package lock. Because it's kind of a different beast compared to the rest of the website. It doesn't necessarily need to stay on the same versions. Why does it use a very old version of TypeScript and Node 18? I'm using Node 22. So I don't want to waste too many requests on Gemini. Let's ask Copilot for a change. It says, can I use Palami with Node 22 instead of the default 18? Yes, you can use Palami to default Node 18. Supports currently active TSR, includes Node 22. Create a Node version with content 22. Okay, that's fine. Let's do this far. Didn't get the dot. Shift F2, yeah. No? Shift F2? No? Okay, don't know. Rename, where is rename? reveal, rename, dot not version. Okay, with just the 22 in it. Make sure package is on JSON. Yeah, it says there 22. Then we try to do NCU. NCU. Hyphen U, so you can update GCP, Palami, node no. But yeah, let's do this just because it will change everything else. Downgrade node to 22. What's this grade? The node LTS. But node 22 is already LTS. Yeah, it's already LTS. Node.js. There you go. 24 is current. Yeah, let's not change that. Okay, so npm install. I was quick. JS, git commit and push. 4,000 insertion, 4,000 deletion. Palami app. Double check it still works. Palami provided warning. Unable to detect a global stack team for the is the thing we just deleted. Is the thing that we just deleted. I can put it back, but now it's annoying because the same project repeated twice. Really annoying. What's the point of getting out the project here if it's already somehow already in? Yeah, that solved the problem. I reinstated GCP project and the error is gone. Why do I need to put the same value twice? Can we tap in the other one? I was going to say, but so the next step, if we accept this not so nice thing of having the same value twice, is to define these accounts. You have stumbled on a fantastic and subtle stumble point of how Palami works. You're absolutely right to question this. It it seems redundant because in this case it is. Let me explain exactly why this is happening. There are two different things that need to know your uh, your GCP project ID. The Palami GCP provider, the engine, this is the underlying Palami component that actually communicates with Google Cloud. By default, it needs to know which project to authenticate against for all its operation. It looks for a global configuration key to do this. The conventional built-in key it looks for a GCP project. When it can find in that key or this key prints that warning. Your index.ts program, the blueprint, this is the code you write. You can tell it to read any configuration key you want. We told to read the project, which Palamis saves as BP infra project, BP infra project in YAML to avoid conflicts with other projects or other projects. We don't have other projects in the same folder. So the situation we created was a provider was looking for a GCP project and couldn't find it, hence the warning. You're coded for that, couldn't find it before, now we can find it. When you installed the GCP project line, you satisfied both of them. The provider found this global key and was happy, and your code found this specific key and was also happy. The correct no redundant. Oh, so it's possible. Well, we tried that before. It doesn't just work. It doesn't work because he's trying to read the BP info GCP project. We already got that. Ah, that's wrong, mate. We just done it before. Annoying, annoying, and disappointing. No, it will work without errors. Not at all. It will not work at all. But I mean, exactly. So it's not possible, basically. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I knew. Yeah, I'm sorry. You say. This is incredibly frustrating, and I sincerely apologize. Oh, we got a solution? The router problem is subtle interaction between the Pulumi CI names configuration and how the GCP provider uses them. I have a clear path to fix this correctly now. The error missed the required configuration variable is the key. The Pulumi program is looking for a key name GC project that is in the namespace by the project, BP info. The more robust and conventional way to solve this in Palami is to not manually read the project ID in your code at all. The Palami GCP provider is designed to automatically detect the GCP project configuration from your stack YAML file and apply it to all resources so you don't need it. Okay. I will modify your index.ts to remove the manual project configuration logic. So just remove it. Nice. And then we can simplify the YAML file as well. How am I supposed to know this? No, what the fuck are you doing? It's already there. Uh, no, no, no. Uh, that doesn't even work. Stop right there. You just made it up. No. Ah, let's keep the duplication. You're absolutely right and apologize. TypeScript compiler correctly and required project. My attempt to simplify by removing was incorrect. Was wrong. The problem isn't in the code, but how do you set in the configuration? The error message. Let's fix the property. I will revert the code to the correct version that explicitly passed to the project and then set the configuration correctly. First, I will restore index.ts to the correct state. So here we go GCP project, but that means we need an infra GCP project command as well, which is not an improvement. It's not an improvement. It was better before. Why don't see changes? What happened? Follow me configure set the GCP project. I still don't understand. How is it supposed to work? It's exactly as before. Yeah, in fact, it doesn't work. This is beyond frustrating. So sorry, specifying a special variable. That's the last one try. Yeah, so now we have duplication. By the configuration key. Ah. It's two columns. Oh, we got a solution. Ask for the key without the GCP. Oh, wow. We got a solution? Let's see. I'm finishing all the credits for something super stupid, man. Okay, not even too bad. So I'm not sure what it's doing now. Already have this screen. I don't understand. So what expected it doesn't work. Ah, so there is maybe it does because before it was doing config without specifying anything. So maybe it assumed the namespace for the function, but now we specify a namespace. Maybe this time it works. It's been hard. Yeah. It seems to work. Uh, yep. Okay, so it was worth it to go through this. No, we don't need that line. Yep. Yep. So we can remove this line. Now let's say we need to get config again for somewhere else. Okay, so now that we have a service account for email sending or email sender server, email sender service account, let's try to use it for the contact form only. Nice. So in here, we have to reorganize this stuff because it's using the web function, which always gets the API key, even when it's not necessary. Maybe we should have, I can't change any of that. We'll obsolete them later, but maybe we should have one, yeah, some, not really like that, but we should have an email sender options, callable options, base function options. No, no, no. Here I don't suggest random shit. Right, we need all of those. So email sender options. Is that how we call the account, right? Service account? Yeah, email sender, perfect. As this service account. So let's also there export it, and we say service account, email service account, email sender service account. There. Right. So now we have a service account, which is email sender, which is defined here, which can only access the secret manager. And now we try and we see if it's enough. Well, first we have to use it. So instead of that, we use email sender options. Mhm. So now let's see our, and this should be enough for a self-contained pull request that does something. Moving contact handler to using a specific service account. All right, let's do this small change. Commit -am. That's what I meant. Okay, git push origin Pulumi. Nice. So we created already the service account. Let's deploy functions. Don't know where I am. I went up too much. npm run deploy for functions. Okay, in the meantime, this takes some time. Let's reload this for the pull request. And then once it's deployed, which was already done quite quickly, ensuring a mail service access to securely signed API key. Ensured. Why does it do that? Secret access on project budget to email send. What does it do now? Granted though. Hmm. We did work locally. Otherwise, I have to check for local and remove the. I don't know, man. I remove the rule in that case. I don't know. Before complaining to Gemini, let's try. Good. I like this approach where we change only one function. We didn't change any of the other one. Eventually, we'll obsolete this. Actually, this is based. Are we even use it anywhere? Because I thought it's only used as a base for the other two, so it shouldn't be exported. I don't think we are using it anywhere. Because either we use email, a specific one, or we use web, 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 scheduled, web, base. I see. So base is the one without enforce subcheck. Why do I need to one without because I'm subscribed and be called from external from the app, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. But also this will need a service account. So I can say do convert to use specific service accounts. So eventually maybe I can even keep those, but I have to make sure that I can yeah, I can eventually delete them, but now I need them. Okay, so contact is on the new version and is deployed. Is on the new service account. So let's try to run an email from contact and see if we get an error. Doesn't important. The spelling is not important. So let's go. Seems to have worked. And I also received. Okay, so this is success. We managed to create a new service account. Um, Programmatically with Palami, which I knew nothing about until a couple of hours ago. And we migrated one of the functions to use a specific service account. And so this is enough for the PR. So let's go on the review once, quick review. And then once it's built correctly, we can merge. We have to leave this to do there for now because we cannot do too much in one PR. I added that. It's already ignored by above, but it doesn't matter. Um, this is the default Palami readme. Maybe we should read it. Okay. Mm, maybe it's not. Shouldn't stay in the same form because this is just says an example, blah blah blah, which is not true now. It's a function. Palami GCP template pay a minimal storage bucket example, not true. So what we are doing now, close others. We have to open index.ts. Creating service accounts for cloud functions. This is true. I can keep that. This is not true. That's maybe true. Let's delete all of that. Okay. Configuration. Yep. That is not. Let's remove that too. Okay. Let's commit this change. So we also took improved the readme to just say the things that make sense. Why is it still there? Okay. It didn't, it wasn't yet there. You didn't say about Palami app. See, let's do it. Nice. Commit again, unfortunately. So we got this. This is the Chapalami stuff. I kept the commented thing because we'll need it just after. Uh, uh, Now we got this and tsconfig. Nice. So as soon as this builds, I can merge. Okay, this is done. The next one has just started. I'm also wanted to see an example where I create a user without the necessary permission and gets an actual error. But here, this just needs script manager. Let's check the next handler. Fetch interested. This fetch interested is interesting because I think it needs only Firestore. So it's still retrieving the secret, but it doesn't need that. Okay, so that worked. Let's merge it. So here we go, git checkout main, git pull, git fetch all. Git del Palami. Nice. Shall we work with this fetch interested? Doesn't need user info fetch interested, does it? No. I really so this is also uh, okay, so let's say so this fetch interested, who calls it? So what are these roles defined? Ah, maybe here, Firebase IAM roles. We get a list. 22 service accounts? I saw much less. Oh, this is confusing. Why 22? I saw 7, 8. $22? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Where's 22? Makes no sense. But where can I find a list? There is where can I find a list of Firebase and cloud, Google Cloud roles, such as data store user? Does it allow rights to? Is there a read-only role? Basic role, predefined role, product category roles, product level role. Yes. Firebase app check roles, app distribution roles, app hosting role, authentication roles, Firestore roles in Google Cloud documentation. Okay, Firestore export get beginner rollback transaction. Database permission name. Read an entity. Get list. When it says list, does it mean data store entities list? Oh, see. Yeah, it meant data store entities list. Okay, so if I have an error, yeah, viewer. Mm. So these are no roles. Oh, that's so annoying. So now, okay, so let's get a user for specifically this. So data store viewer, let's call it like that. Data store viewer. So that will correspond to that role viewer, okay. But I leave it empty on purpose because I want to see the error. So let's keep here some roles for reference outside here. roles. And we just saw the one suggested here, that one. Firestore read-only access. Nice. And the next step is now that we have this data store viewer, or we will have once I do Pulumi up, Pulumi up, Pulumi, infra, again, functions, cd infra. Okay, try again one more time, please. Eh, wait. Okay. So you should create a new role data store viewer. Unchanged. Now there you go. Data store viewer service account. Are we starting to rename? Let's say no for now. No. SA service account. Then we have an abbreviation nobody understands, including me 3 months later. Let's just say account then. Okay, let's run it again. Let it just come on. This is just to show it doesn't affect anything else. So it doesn't need to be super long. Right. So yeah, it says it changed that. And the reason is saved somewhere in the cloud, isn't it? Do you want to perform update? Yes. Okay. So I will have my new data store viewer, which I copy, service account. So now I can open CFG. I hope I'm in main. Yeah, I'm in main. Yeah. Yep. I'm in main. Yeah. Great. Let's say git checkout FMB data store fetch interest uh, Titan fetch interested security. Let's say like this for the account. So let's go using web function options. Instead, we create a new for now, no, not that. We'll create a new data store viewer options, and then we'll handle the duplication. No secrets, and the service account already correct. Okay. And we export it. Nice. Let's handle the duplication issue. We got base. The main thing about base is that it can be invoked publicly, while the other one has upcheck. So I'm not sure. The only thing I'm adding is upcheck. we could create a new one, which is called app check function options as a base. All right, where I basically do this. So now that we have that, I can substitute a spread up check function options, and also here. And base eventually will go, and also web will go. So it makes sense. Now we created that view without any permission on purpose because we want to see the error. Now we put that to use, fetch interested to use data store viewer options. And we have to see who uses it. How can we trigger this from the front end? So let's copy this name and look for it in web source. Let's find in files here. No, yeah, functions include web src. Manage subscription. Yep. Okay, I got it. So let's deploy. We still have the issue. Does it work locally with the other service account? Let's try that as well. So need some terminals, right? I need one terminal in web. npm run dev. And then we need one terminal in functions. npm run serve. Now, once it's up, I'll test the contact form if it's still working locally or not. Okay, it's up. Contact form. Testing contact form locally. For me, it doesn't work, but I might be wrong. It does. Huh. Okay. Fine. I don't know how. Probably because I'm authenticated with a big service account, then it can delegate to smaller service accounts. Oh, that's good. So that means I can test locally the managed subs that instead does not work. It should not work because I now indicated the service account. Oh, I think this might be the issue. Um, yeah, I might be. That this should fail. Nothing happens. What? Okay, I didn't, it didn't get the click. That worked. Oh, I got a Firebase not initialized error. Which makes no sense. That could be due to the permission, and I got the wrong error here. So let's go check in the functions log to see if we have the right error message. Ah, function log is local. You know, then we introduced an error before I miss. So we clearly did not do this change live. Let's test live. Is this error also live? Because if it is, now this change is not important anymore. I can stash it. And we should figure out what did I break before. Apparently this works. But then I receive an email for which where there is the error. Okay, so now I do get the email. Right. That's weird because I put the Firebase initialization right in the layout. So basically, let's go to check routes layout svelte. That's where on mount is called initialize my app. And here I can reload as many times as I want. It doesn't do that. Okay. Let's do we have to redeploy anyway to do that. Okay, let's ask Gemini first. Then we have to switch context, so let's quit. I initialize Firebase in in init ts, which is called on mount of plus layout svelte. However, in the page who's outputting that Firebase non-initialized? Hold on. Doesn't even do requests. Manage stubs. I now get Firebase no initialize. So let's open the manage subs page. Why stuff break? Uh, uh, there's also another amount. Does the on mount? I don't think that's a problem. Define their cause any issue. Uh, Probably the auditor is not sure anymore if they were from mount. The way you initialize variables in your mount, in your root layout is standard for Svelte Kit. However, the message error specific page suggests and Firebase dependent code is running before the mount function completes. This is often the case of the script tries to access Firebase at the top level. The manage subs page is a standalone page that does not use the main. Oh, really? I thought every page would use the layout. Then I have a problem everywhere. Ah. Oh. Ah, interesting. Then I have a problem. Mm. It's still going. Wait. I'm way behind. Give me some time. Manage subs. Can't find it. How can I find it? Roots. Manage subs there. No, Svelte is a folder. Yeah. Okay. It's just layout. Yep, correct. Manage sub is mount. in web, you import functions from init. When the application is loading, the functions variable is undefined because it only gets assigned a value initialized by app, which runs later during our mount. The import statement gets a value of function of load time. I will change init to provide functions that return the initialized Firebase services. Hold on. Ah. API-TS will import functions from init, so import empty. When the application is loading, yeah. At that point, functions variable is undefined, so it doesn't change after you get a copy. Right? The import statement when a function and doesn't update. To fix this, I will change it in init-ts to provide the function. This I sure okay. Refactor init-ts. I will stop exporting the out and functions variables directly. So it should be returned by initialize my app. That's interesting. I will create and export the new functions, get auth instance and get functions instance. No way functions. Why don't you return it from initialize my app? I don't understand. Update API TS to import get function instance. Ah, okay, because you can call it after. Yeah. When it's needed, which is later. I will search the code base. Yeah. Model is overloaded. Let's search for a successor with the challenge by okay. The file content, we apply the changes. Get the function instead of the functions directly. Mhm. Well, now we get notification from new errors, right? Yeah, there you go. Yep. Okay. What's it doing now? So I did a comma here. Okay, whatever. Then here What is it doing? Call Firebase function. Because he changed call Firebase function to have instead of passing functions, he already has it. Oh god. 9 p.m. I need to have dinner soon. Okay. Okay. Alright, so doesn't need the parameter anymore functions because it gets in here. Only at call times. That should solve the problem. Have I finished the credit yet for today? Also, when a model is overloaded, I waste credits. 67%. Yeah, the test on post pro. Ooh, the test break. Huh. Uh-huh. Yep. Makes sense. Yeah, it should be resolved. Good. So, so let's see. In the end, I did not change the security of fetch interest. Well, I did, but I didn't publish yet. Unfortunately, we did some side job. It's raining like hell. Well, well. We have to hope that it works. So now, or it doesn't work for now. We expect that the fetch interested function is broken. we have to change, we changed the front end and the back end. So now we have to deploy the back end, front end. And also the back end. Okay. So we fix one thing and broke the other. No, more problem. So instead of deploy, we have to run build. That phase. Yeah. Here. Error during build. Auth is not exported. Okay, I know what to do. Button Google. Svelte. Okay. I can do the fix myself. So instead of auth and function, we have get auth instance and get functions instance. Nice. There was auth. I put functions. Auth. If not, get get auth instance. Right. Get auth instance. Nice. Not get auth instance or not get functions instance. Get functions instance. Get auth instance. Maybe I could have defined them. Nice. Done. So that should have solved that problem. I don't know what other problems were there. Probably more. Yep. Auth is not. This is the error that I should have corrected. Auth is not exported in init, yes. Okay. Imported by gotten config. Yeah. I don't understand. Let's try a clean. npm run a clean. npm run build. Okay, seems different error. Cannot find. That is worse. tsconfig. Why? What's this error? Auth is not exported by init. Sign in svelte. Import auth. What am I missing? I don't see it. Button sign out. I I should read better the error mess. It's not here, it's here. Get auth instance. Not get auth instance, sign out. Get auth instance. Nice. Try again. Auth is not exposed by anything else in user TS. get host instance. Oh, it's already changed as well here. Okay. Run. Okay. npm run deploy. And this is still updating. Now it failed. Could not create or update a cloud run fetch interested. Access is secret failed. Permission deny on secret. I'm not retrieving the secret. Hold on. I thought I didn't. Fetch interested. That was the whole point. Abcheck does not have a secret. Start base, no secret. Why is it trying to access the secret? Okay, so let's not break two things at once. Let's start with putting this, because now we have to see, put back that more generic role, because we have to see if we fix the other error before creating a new error. Where the other error was Firebase non-initialized. Fortunately, this takes time. Verify your project as a Google App Engine instance setup. What? That was not expected. That is so weird that I will execute once more and see if that happens again before investigating further. Let's see if it happens again. Go for 3 hours now, eh? I really want to stop. Don't know why Fetch Interested is trying to get a secret. I think it's defined here, but if it's not declared like this, shouldn't be used. Okay, let's see what happened now. No problem. So that is really weird. So don't remember if I deployed the front end. I think I did, but let's do it again. It's quick, just to make sure that everything is in sync. So we have this, the previous problem. This is on localhost. We could have tested localhost as well, yeah? So the problem happens when I go to this URL. Still there. Well, it's still there, but not deployed yet. Let's see if it's still there right now. Ah, who initialize functions? You know what? I can do this myself. I think what happens now is that functions just returns even if it's empty. Instead, if it's not, it should initialize itself. We initialize functions. So let's open this init file. Yeah, functions are not initialized. It's probably the same as far as is initialized here. I want to say when this is called, initialize my app. Start. No end, but skipped. And let's do, yeah, initialize my app and maybe. Let's execute this locally because it's relatable. It works also locally. It or not works. It works in the same way locally. npm run dev. And for functions, npm run serve. Okay, this is starting. In the meantime, we prepare localhost 5173. And now don't know what that is, but some emulator stuff. Account lookup. 1999. It's up, so I don't know why it's not working. Anyway, it's not even the issue. Token expired. that's not even the issue. This should not happen online. The issue is that if I go to here, manage subscription status, I get functions not initialized in local as well. Okay, in that page, I've added these console logs. If I reload this, no, not this. If I reload this page, if I clean this, just to make sure, reload this page, yep, is calling before it is initialized. We are calling initialize start and then. Nice. But that code in API TS line 30, and the line number won't correspond to real numbers. Or manage subs 26. Don't think the line number correspond, but manage subs. So basically on mount, that's exactly what we do. We do call fetch interested API before. Yeah, so I exactly know the problem, but I don't know the solution. But I can explain the problem. Now, the problem is that manage subs Welt that one, executes um, on mount some code that or the function, let's be specific, call fetch interested API before Firebase is initialized. To prove that, I've added some console logging inside init.ts, and here is the output in the browser console. Let's remove this warning, it's not related. So it seems that the component on mount, the manage subs component on mount, let's be very specific, is not waiting for the layout on mount to complete. How can we solve this problem? You correctly identified the race condition. The on-mount in manage subs vault component is firing before the on-mount in the parent. Layout svelte has finished initializing Firebase. To solve this, we could use a svelte store to signal when Firebase initialization is complete. Any component that depends on Firebase can subscribe to this store and wait for the ready signal before executing its logic. Nice. Here is my plan. Create a store. Create a new file. Stores up. Okay, let's check that. So we have to be web source stores. We have a user store. We will create a new app store. App ready. Update in ETS. We modify initialize my app to update app ready store to true after Firebase is successfully initialized. Yeah. Refactor manage sub svelte. I will remove the on-mount block and replace it with a reactive statement. That's a svelte 4. Fucking hell. Let's subscribe to app ready store. Okay. Um, no. The plan sounds great, but remember that I'm using Svelte 5, so don't use obsolete. This is already explained in Gemini ND. Why I have to tell every time? Runes, please execute your plan as stated, but with Svelte 5 Svelte kit syntax. You're right, my apologies. Using store is a correct Svelte pattern and will ensure implementation uses modern Svelte 5 syntax. $effect is the perfect rune for this. Here is an updated plan. Create a store. I will create a store app.ts with a simple writable store app ready. Update in ETS. I will modify, initialize my app to import app ready store and set this value to true once initialization is complete. Refactor manage subsvelte. I will replace on mount function with the effect rune. This effect will depend on app ready store and will execute the data fetching logic. Okay, sounds great. When the value becomes true. Okay, so it starts false. Next, I will modify init.ts to update the store. Right, okay. So just import the store for now. And then set it to true at the end. Okay. Finally, we refactor manage subs to use the effect rune instead of on mount. So effect depends on upgrade just because it's mentioned. Wait, where is it imported? Perhaps I don't see it. And why this is an anonymous function? I'm not sure why I did that. To make it asynchronous. That's the only reason why I did that. I don't know why I wanted to make it asynchronous. Maybe effect has to complete quickly. I completed planning changes. The rest because maybe effect has to be synchronous. So to execute asynchronous code, it has to wrap it. The race condition should be resolved using Svelte store and the effect rune to ensure Firebase initialized before any dependent API calls are made. Got you. Well, we have to try it now. Okay. So now we should be already running the new code, but because this auto reloads, but just to be super sure, I'm gonna restart the server, and now it works. That's beautiful, man. So on that note, that is the only function that is executed immediately. All the other parts you need that because you go here and before you type your email and click apply as a tester, it takes time. So Firestore has a time to update. So in theory, you could put a check there too, but in practice, the user is gonna be so much slower than the initialization. It is not necessary. Interesting. So let's see. We still have lots of changes. Let's push them. Let's review them. And I think what I want to do is deploy this because now the website is broken. We want to fix it. And what I want to do, yeah, that's what I want to do. What I want to do is to now review the PR, merge it, and call it a day. We need to create a ticket for. We are very far from even starting that because we got lost with the service accounts. Test, fetch, interested with data store viewer options and see why it wants to load the recent secret even though it should not. Long ticket, yeah. All right. So let's go to the PR. We can remove the console log from init. We can leave that one. And now we are ready to merge, but we have to wait for a new build. So the deployment of the web worked, yeah. Functions, this is running locally, we can kill it. Now, let's, no, let's merge first before creating more mess. Okay, this is working. Okay, let's merge it. Okay, delete branch. Nice. So now let's do a git checkout main, a git pull, git fetch all. And git del, yeah, the branch name didn't match. So now let's try to use the data store viewer option for fetch interested. We do an npm run build first. That works. We try a deploy. That's where it breaks already, apparently. Now, this should actually break, but not for that reason of trying to access the secret. It should break because it can't read the database in here. So I'm not sure. Let's see again the error now that we start from a clean state or a clean slate. So first, let's close Gemini because we are starting a totally new topic. So we want to reset the stage, reset the memory, or what do you call it, the context. Waiting. I don't understand. Does it try to execute the function when you deploy? It should not. It should just deploy, isn't it? Let's see what we get. I also does fetch email, so this one also needs the. I don't know, fetch email is still using just is just using the Firestore. That's it. So far, no error, but let's see if the error comes up. It's just waiting for a long time. There you go, that's the error. Cannot create or update accessing secret. Shouldn't access secret. Okay, let's talk with Gemini. I changed fetch interested to use callable options as callable options, which does not include does he always read secrets? So everything yeah, it's trying to really read the recent API key. Permission a permission to read secret and should not read secrets because the corresponding configuration doesn't have a secret property defined. However, when I run deploy, it looks like is trying to access secrets, and I don't understand why. And let's go specific. We copy the whole output of deploy, which apparently starts here. And let's put it in Z just to double check that that makes sense. Yeah, I think that's the whole thing. Okay. It seems there is a mismatch. Oh, the deploy is still associated with pen. Oh, why is that? Does not include any secrets. Yeah. Yeah. From a previous report. Yeah. Can I stop and tell you? I think I have to give the permission, let it deploy, and then remove the permission. But let's try the explicit route as well. Maybe that's enough. Okay. This takes a long time. Mhm. So all of this, you already uploaded the functions folder. Now, all this is trying to start them up in some way and waiting for some feedback. So I think if we check the logs, we'll have something there. So Cloud Run, containerized application. That's not, yeah, okay, fetch interested. I'm not sure. Yeah. I think it fails now. I will stop the AI and try to deploy this with the permission. Yeah, okay, that's an old mess. Okay, Marshmallow. While we're waiting for that, I can bring you outside. Oh, yeah, there you go. No, no, that's not the one. It's the, okay. Okay. I think you can leave it. Why don't we leave it in as explicit empty secret array? Yep, that makes more sense. By the way, this introduced another issue, which is the lack of permission to actually fetch data from uh, Firestore. So let's check that permission issue. So already deployed to prod. And let's see if I can get an old URL. I think I already deleted. Yeah, that. There you go. Failure as expected. That is good. This is good stuff now. Because it's the failure that I wanted, which is couldn't call. Oh my god, my dog. Okay. This one is the permission error, and we should see the exact permission issue, which is related to this is the old error, and that's on localhost. And this is the we can close it. This is IM. We should see the new user. We have email sender, but now if we reload, we should see. Ah, that's getting cool. Where is the new user? Ah, it's not even, we didn't give scopes, so maybe it's not even created. So let's go to infra, index.ts. There should be a data store viewer, which I don't see. Data store. Ah, it's not there. Okay, so the error will not be the one expected. It will be different, unfortunately. The user doesn't even exist. So let's go to check page interested, correct? Reload this. Oh, now it's up, but unhandled, missing or insufficient permissions. Uh, they said it's a detailed error. That's not detailed. Show all. Missing, maybe here. Okay, let's see. Missing or insufficient permission for call at caused by error. That's really bad. They said they will tell you exactly what permission is missing. Nope. I know already what is missing, but all I get is a permission denied. Firestore client, stream API caller, streaming call. I don't know. Let's add this role data store viewer. Nice. Let's remove that. And now let's run the info again. Palumi up. So probably refuse to create the user without any permission because info. I'm reading a pool. What a horrible name, man. This is the worst name I ever heard. Yeah. So the data store viewer is now there. Well, not yet. Now it's creating. It will be there soon. So that means two things. One, we can reload this page and look for data store viewer. That was the task for tomorrow. We're already doing it. Yeah. Yeah, that one. The C data store viewer is there. Perfect. We roll cloud data store viewer. I don't like how the role here is in another format. Annoying. Because I don't know anymore the other name, the other role, more formal way. So now this function should work. No, it doesn't. Do I need a redeploy? Or is it a different error? Mm, yeah, that's the second one. Let's run a new deploy. But he will say, oh, there is no change. I don't need to do anything. Yeah, that's the only call is this one where he reads a collection. Yeah, no change. So that's a problem. Let's do a change and redeploy. Because this should be the issue, but it doesn't. There's not. Okay, okay. Here we go. A beta. I didn't see that before. That's where it happens. Firestore get old. So yeah, it doesn't have the permission to read Firestore. It would have been nice. They would tell me, something here instead of just saying missing permission. What permission? But now I set this as a data store viewer option, which is defined here. Use the data store viewer account that should match that account, correct? I'm starting to think to use a variable for that part. Um, can it be called account domain? It's not. I know it's not really a domain. It's more of like a namespace, but yeah, the I suggest that, but let's copy and paste instead, and let's come. Yeah, that's what I want to do. And same here. I just call it domain. We are in that context. Nice. This is not important change. So let's see the deployment. How is it going? Complete. Will it work? Yes. So it needed a redeployment. How weird. Unless, I'm just fooling myself. It was just a propagation time and the effect, but it's a bit long. I don't know. We will see more when we convert the next functions. So we can create tickets, because now really that's it. Yeah, this is done. Actually, we did more than that. We migrated the fetch interested to Titan specific service account. That's what we did. Nice. Um, okay. So we'll have to maybe use the same, but we'll have to evaluate separately. Service account for fetch user data. I would say it's every one of them is a separate pull request, is a separate test. Service account for get custom token. Service account, and it can be the same, but just now I don't know, so will have to be evaluated. Service account for scheduled. Service account for toggle delete. Service account for unsubscribe. Service account for update interest. So generated quite a bit of work, but I think it's good in the long run to have everything tightened up, and also have Palumi manage infrastructure. So it has been a good day, I would say. A bit of a bummer that I did not really go to do the email stuff. Service, so fetch interested service account, -b, and add command added specific service account for fetch interested handler. Push origin fetch interested, and now PR. You can give a sneak peek to fetch user data. This is all reading, so it should be exactly the same. We can use data store viewer. I don't know for this one. Yeah, it was just to force the deployment. Can stay, doesn't matter. That's the domain thing. And that's the whole. Nice. The build worked. We can squash and merge. And call it a day. I'm very, very hungry. Already 10 p.m. I need dinner. Okay, go on tomorrow. hopefully we can pick some steam. What we need to do after is also double check everything. This is done. This has to stay open because we'll have to double check. This goes back for now. All right. Tomorrow is another day. We'll fight. Bye.